Hello and welcome back to another Destiny video. I wanted to talk today about the upcoming patch for Destiny, the 2.5.02, and the effects that it's going to have on the Crucible and gaming moving forward. But before I get to that, I just wanted to add that it's about time, but I finally got an intro video put up, and I also today purchased an Elgato HD60 for gameplay recording. And I'm actually recording off an external mic now, which eventually I'm going to upgrade, but for now it's going to have to make do. But I decided to make a few upgrades to the channel. I think it was kind of due anyway, and make a little bit better quality videos overall. So this is the first video that I've done with a voice overlay with a pre-recorded video. And since we're talking about the Crucible today, it kind of made sense to do some gameplay in the Crucible. It took me about 3 matches to get one that was viable to even use, because I honestly haven't picked up Destiny for a few weeks now, and even before that I hadn't been in the Crucible for a while. So I'm just kind of getting caught up with everything right now, trying to get back in the swing of it. The first couple matches were absolutely atrocious, but this one is kind of average, subpar, good enough to put on YouTube, I guess. I'm by no means making videos to show off my Crucible skills, because I don't have a lot of them. I'm not Triple Wreck or any of these other amazing Crucible Guardians out there. I just do it for fun and have fun doing it with friends and stuff. Other than that, you're not going to see any spectacular gameplay or lighthouse trips with me. But enough of that, on to the video. What I wanted to talk about was not about what the patch notes are, but how are the patch notes going to affect your gameplay moving forward with Destiny. I don't think these changes are really going to affect PvE all that much. There seems to be a distinct difference between the guns that people use in the Crucible for Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris versus the ones that they use for raids and strikes, etc., etc. So this is primarily going to be a Crucible type change for the game. And moving forward, it's going to be different for everyone. It all depends on what kind of guns you currently use, how it's affected by the patch, and how it's going to affect the guns that you don't use. Are those guns going to be viable that you all of a sudden start to use again? Or are you going to stick with what you've always had? With me, I've been really lucky. I got a God Roll Clever Dragon from the very first Iron Banner that dropped with Rise of Iron. It was back when they had the tier 5 packages for reaching level 5. And when I opened that package, I got counterbalance, brace frame, and high caliber rounds, which is pretty much the reason for why this patch is coming out and why pulse rifles are getting the nerf that they're getting now. You can see from the video that there are some really long distance shots that I take, and it's not just this video. I mean, I wish I would have recorded a lot of other videos showing this, but when it comes down to 1v1 with me against someone else at a long distance, I win every single time. And that's coming from someone who is not an elite Crucible type player. It's just because that gun is so good. And it makes me a better player than what I really am overall, because I think the really good players out there can take average guns and still do really well, where it takes a God Roll Clever Dragon for me to rise above a lot of other players. This match isn't anything spectacular at all. Like I said, I was brushing off a lot of rust to try and at least get a somewhat decent match to put up for the video. But the point is, before I even got the Clever Dragon back in year 1, a long time ago, I used hand cannons a lot. They were my primary gun, not just for PvE, but also for the Crucible. And hand cannons took a huge hit. Even a few weeks ago, back when I jumped into the Crucible the last time I played before this video, I pulled out the Hawk Moon and the Indigo Loop and some other hand cannons I had that had some really good rolls on them, and it wasn't the same. They had just been driven to the ground so much that they just were not that good. And it's kind of ironic because in this video I got killed by the Hawk Moon at least once. It may have been a few other times where I was killed by it. But the point is that I don't even like hand cannons anymore for anything. But with this patch coming up, my beloved Clever Dragon, which sadly I'm probably going to have to put on the shelf. I mean, it's still going to be a very good gun in the Crucible, but I really am interested to see how good hand cannons are going to be after all of this. I also like to use scout rifles from time to time. I got a really good Shadow NX, and it's got a really high rate of fire and high impact, but it wasn't as good as my Clever Dragon was. And I really just want to see how good these hand cannons are going to end up being. I really want to pull the Hawk Moon out of the vault and see how good that is. I want to see how the Ace of Spades for the Hunter is. I want to compare those to how the Clever Dragon is after the patch. And it comes down to, how is it going to affect everyone else too? Are you going to keep using the same guns that you have had the whole time through the whole Rise of Iron and since our last weapon balance that Destiny had? Or are you going to branch out and try some of these other guns that you haven't tried for a long time, or maybe ones that you've picked up and never really gave a chance? I think it'll be kind of interesting. I think the first couple of weeks in the Crucible will probably tell a lot. The shotguns as well, it's kind of ironic. I'm not really a shotgun guy at all. I actually have a really good Matador 64 with rangefinder and extended range on it, and there's another perk that makes it really well, but I hardly ever use it, so I don't know it as well as my Clever Dragon, but shotguns did take a pretty big hit. I never really used them a whole lot. My secondary weapons were very sporadically used, and I don't even use it at all in this video that I put up. I've always used my primary as my main weapon, and whenever I got a chance to get heavy, I would go with that, but for the most part, using primary was my main reason for doing Crucible and my main weapon for doing it. But as far as everyone else goes, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out with the weapon balance and what everyone's going to do now. I mean, are you going to, like I said before, branch out, try the stuff, or are you going to stick with what you've had and, you know, even though your favorite gun may have taken a hit, you're still going to use that shotgun? You're going to make a switch to sidearms instead? Are you going to still stick with your God Roll Clever Dragon, or are you going to try, you know, other guns out there and see how those fare? So it'll be interesting. It'll be pretty fun. I have to work on the day that the patch hits, so I won't be able to try until I get home that night. But I'm going to definitely pull out Hawk Moon and take that into the Crucible and see how that fares. So I just wanted to do a quick recap on all this. I wasn't going to go over patch notes because there's tons of videos like that. I don't want my channel to be a copycat of what everyone else is doing too. I want it to be a little bit different, maybe spark discussion and get other people thinking and maybe trying new things in the game. So that's it for now. I'll let the little bit of the video that's left play out, and you can watch my horrible gameplay and my horrible match that I had. But thanks for watching. A like, sub, or share would be greatly appreciated. I'll have more videos soon. Thanks. See ya.